if you go directly to the DDO.com site, DDO.com, you can click the Play Free button and download the game for free directly from there. And everything is handled by their servers, by their networks, and by their payment plans. If you are running PayPal, then you can set up a monthly with no problems at all. If you are like myself, I go to the DDO.com site. I use their game download. I use all of their stuff, so it does not charge me the additional for the euro. It does not charge me for transfer rates and all of this other stuff. And unlike Steam, where it kept holding up my payments, it couldn't do the transfer and things, this thing has ran smoothly now for 4 months as I've been testing it out. Yes, it's taken me 4 months before I decided I was ready to do the thing on this, because it is so, it's big, okay? So there goes that short-term memory loss again. Payments. So I bypassed a lot of stuff, and it actually saves me money to boot. I do know that when I was having trouble with Steam, I contacted their people, and they actually, their help desk is really good. But they tried to do everything that they could to allow the payment through Steam, the European Steam server. But once again, Steam kept freezing up on me. So, alright, it's something to do with Steam. It wants to run its stuff in the background. It wants to control everything. And now you no longer buy a game from Steam. Basically, you pay $50 for a game, and it's a rent. You're basically renting to play. A one-time rental fee, essentially. And if they pull the game or pull the server, you're screwed. Well, I spent $50. I bought all these. Well, we're sorry, that you don't own the game. By getting it from DDO, I download it. It's there. I own the game. I go directly through their DDO launcher exe. I don't have to have secondary programs running in the background. All right. So, that's one good thing about going to this site. There's an official Dungeons & Dragons Online Discord. There's lots of other server Discords running. You can run in voice in the game. It has a microphone detection and so on. However, it can really slow you down. And it has its own problems, once again, because the game's 20 years old. Alright? Now, there's like here, Dungeons & Dragons Online, we're looking for moderators. Okay? But they're looking for a Discord, someone to help run in the Discord community. And this is probably a private, see here, volunteer moderators. In other words, they're too chintzy to even pay you to go in and spend your time cleaning other people's stuff up. I've got some issues with the game. I'm not going to deny that. But from a nostalgic point of view, from an effective gaming point of view, from a amount of content point of view, it's a good game still. So, Discord. Here, when you first log in, there's a problem with this site. When you first log into the site, you'll notice I have nowhere to log in. It just wants me to download the game. Boom, boom, boom. To get to your login, if you want to create an account with this, which I highly suggest, if you're going to play it, create the account. The account is created. It runs the same information when you create your initial account for the game. But to be able to access the login, you've got to click Shop, and you can click any of these, and now you have a store account login. The store account login allows you to buy stuff directly from the store, the website, which is different from buying from the DDO store in the game. Sometimes they'll run, like they did one where they ran an expansion, and it was like really cheap. Everybody ran to get it and so on. And down in the very, very little fine print, they said, to get this at this thing, you have to do it by logging into the game first and accessing through the DDO store. So, you know, like any other big company, their little fine print crap at times can be extremely frustrating. So that's how you would go into your login. Every week they run a weekly free coupon. In this one, you're getting a guild renown elixir, which of course, if you're not part of a guild, is basically useless for you. But you know, it is what it is. It's different things. And so you would use this coupon code in the game, again at their DDO store. We'll get into how that works, to be able to get your freebie for the week. And to get those freebies, you would go to the regular DDO. You would click on their news, and this is all their updates. They do a regular update typically on a Thursday, so they're not updating on the weekends, and they do it typically during work hours, American stateside work hours, which can be sort of a pain in the dupa for us people that are 8 hours and 6 hours ahead if we want to play in our evenings. But, you know, at least it is on a weekday, and for the majority of individuals, it is a work day that's during work hours, typically like 1 to 5 o'clock. They do their maintenance and so on a Thursday. But you can do all of the, you can go all the way back. This is January. It just keeps going back. But always the newest one is at the very top. And so this is good through February the 13th. That is that on that. If you go in, there is a free-to-play version. It has some good initial game content with restrictions, of course. And if you decide to that you want to get more into the game, there is a couple of ones that I suggest. First of all, the DDO expansion trove. Now, the way you get to this is you would go into the website, you would log into your account. Remember, I go shop, and I would go previous expansions. And then, of course, up at the top, now I could sign into my account. Once I signed in, I would want to go all the way to the bottom. The DDO expansion. This gives you the basic Mist of Ravenloft, the Shadowfell Conspiracy. It will give you Menace of the Underdark, which is the Demon Web, the Drow section. It's basically, this is levels 10 to 20 stuff. The game has a mechanic. It's a reborn mechanic. Since it's based off the old 3.0 system, we would typically in rule versions 1 to rule versions 2, you retired your character by the time you reached level 10. In most cases, some people, you know, kept going up. By the time we hit 3 and 4, it would be level 20. By the time, well, at least 3. Then 4 and 5, you start getting into all these. You're battling the gods and all this sort of stuff, and it's like, I figure if I was going to be a demigod, before a god would let me get strong enough to battle him, he would take and squish me, and be done with it before I became a threat. Just me personally. So this whole battling gods and demi deities and it's not my thing. And again, why I like them running off the 3.0 version. So the Treasure Trove expansion. This is about 2040. This is about $80 to $90 worth of stuff, which is a little bit of a savings. Now, if you go for the others, you got to be very careful because they have an Ultimate Fan Edition, they have a Collector's Edition, and they have a Standard Edition. Also, they will time to time run sales with a reduced price on some of these. All right, I got my my Saltmarsh Edition for, instead of 30, I got it for like $10 while they had it on sale. And you've got to wait for the sales to come up, and that's up to you and your price budget. See here, this gives you, basically this is bells and whistles stuff. Cosmetic gear, a pet which does nothing, a mount which you can, if you get the Keep on the Borderlands edition, for like $30, you can actually get yourself a free mount through that in a very short amount of time, and it's a level 2 or 3 dungeon area. So you get yourself a horse really quick. It's just not a fancy dragon or a unicorn or a flaming skeleton, but it will get you from point A to point B. And once you start getting into Saltmarsh and some of the larger areas, a mount will be very useful. So I always go for the basic. I'm getting the basic stuff. I don't need all the cosmetic stuff. All right. See here, Secrets of Saltmarsh was $20. I got it at 50% off. If you are getting these, the order I would suggest is the expansion trove. Then would be the Saltmarsh, and that gives you access. At that point, you should have access to Keep on the Borderlands, which is a level 2 to 3 area. Saltmarsh is a level 3 to 4 area. Then by this point, you could, between this pack and that pack, you could easily reach level 20 and still have stuff to do. Let's see. The next one I would get would be the Isle of Dread. That's a level 7 to level 10. Vecna Unleashed is an expansion for this, so it's not required, but it gives you more content. However, this one, you notice it's a little bit newer, and their prices start going a bit wonky. Let's see. What was the other one? The Feywild is it's a massive area. It's more of an open area, but it is another low-level one. Then Masterminds of Sharn goes up, and that's about it. Okay. This is the current release. Myth Draenor It's an entire continent opening, and because you take boats or flying ships and go between locations to different, just like we had in World of Warcraft, we'd go to Agramar, and so on. In this, you, instead of taking the little flying blimp, you can grab a ship or whatever, and it will transition you over to that section. So that is the basics on that. And now we will get into the game itself and the character generation and stuff.